All right, welcome everyone to the High Speed Healing Universe call. We have tonight just so much to do and so many exciting things going on. And I want to welcome all the members of the High Speed Healing Universe all the regulars that I see here, Jean and Rhonda and Andrew's here. Who else? There's so many people here tonight, many more than normal, because we've also invited tonight new people from all over the world to experience what it's like in our universe. And so I want to welcome there are a lot of people on the call tonight. And I want to welcome you if you're brand new to the High Speed Healing Universe, and welcome to anybody who is with us live on Facebook. So we have a very unique experience here. And for those of you who are new to me and new to my work, I'm Debora Wayne. I'm the founder of the International Chronic Pain Institute. And this is the only institute in the entire universe that I'm aware of that is featuring the high speed healing method, where I and the practitioners that I train, we work in the field that surrounds the body. And my specialty is helping people, men, women, children, even animals. And I've helped tens of thousands of people now all over the world in 150 countries to date. And I've been able to help them literally in a safe, fast, easy, even relaxing way. Oops, there's my alarm. In a very safe, relaxing, easy way, I've been able to help people literally remove pain, remove patterns, remove symptoms that many of them have been suffering with for 20, 30, even more years of their life. And I'm able to do this without ever asking anyone to take a pill, a potion, a lotion, a supplement, do endless physical therapies, or even without asking them to give up the foods they love. Now, this is unheard of. And I want to be very clear, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to give medical advice, to diagnose, to treat symptoms. That's not what goes on. And it's also why this is such a unique universe. My understanding and what I share with people is a very different, out of the box, unconventional way of even looking at physical pain, emotional pain like depression or anxiety, panic attacks, things like headaches and digestive drama, eating disorders, addictions, trauma from your past, from childhood, from abuse, from accidents or injuries, or even from surgeries that went bad. I help people with insomnia. People have suffered from things like thyroid issues and all kinds of chronic pain and inflammation and joint issues, even curvature of the spine, just on and on with chronic conditions that were plaguing them. And I've been able to help people all over the world. And, you know, many people find it difficult to wrap their mind around what I teach and what I share and the tools that I have created over the years, and especially the high speed energy method, because it's quite different than the norm. By the way, would everyone be kind enough to mute your phone or mute your device? Let me do that right now. If you would please just keep your device muted for me so that we don't have any background noise in my recording. Randy, a lot of you have your devices open. I'm asking you to please mute your device. Thank you, everybody, so much. And let's see, just makes it easier on the ears here. So tonight I'm going to share with you some of the key principles of why I've been able to help so many people and why they've been suffering, even though they have tried, and this could be you, why people have tried everything under the sun and still they don't get results, and they're living with pain of some kind. Now, remember, when I say pain, I'm talking about physical pain of any type, but I'm also talking about emotional pain, which right now, more than ever, the people that I'm speaking with, whether they're clients, friends, in groups that I participate in, it just seems like the emotional pain is off the charts right now. So if you're experiencing any type of pain, it could even be financial pain. It could be pain in your career, your relationships. It could be the pain of not knowing what you're here to do. What's my purpose? Why am I here? Like, it can't just be eating, going to sleep, watching TV, and going back to work. So if you're suffering from any kind of pattern in your life as well, where you know not everybody has that pattern that keeps returning, perhaps it's an abusive relationship, and you think, I'm never going to do that again. And lo and behold, the bodies change, the issues stay the same. This is not unfamiliar to me, and it is exactly what I help people with and what I want to help you with. So please, if you hear nothing else that I say today, do not give up hope. There really are solutions for pain and patterns and symptoms and suffering of all types. And your body and your life are designed to heal if there are three required things, and I'm going to share with you now. You may want to take some notes, those of you that are new to this. Number one, you must learn to find and release the patterns of thought, the habits of thinking, the false beliefs that are literally damaging and destroying your life. They are, I know it can sound a little abstract, but your thoughts are a force as real as electricity. And you know, if you walk over to the light switch and you flip that switch, the lights are going to come on, right? Your thoughts are a creative power. They are creative in nature. And if you are not in charge of them or aware of what they're doing, they have the power to be very destructive. See, think of it this way. Power can work in both directions. It can work for you and it can work against you. And you have to understand the power of your mind. Now, the second thing that you must do if you want to learn to live pain-free, if you want to live in joy, if you want to have freedom and ease and comfort in your life and in your body, is you must learn to feel. If you want to heal, you must learn to feel. And everybody in here who knows me, who's been in my pain-free living program or who's in my high-speed healing universe, they hear me say this again and again and again because it takes a while to sink in. But in order to heal, we must learn to feel. And we live in a world where feelings are kind of like, stay over there, would you? Don't come too close. I don't really want to feel those feelings. I only want to feel those happy, joyous, and free feelings. But it doesn't work that way. All feelings are made of energy. And energy never dies. It's going to go somewhere. And if you don't learn to find and release the feelings, it's either going to explode on someone or it's going to implode and cause damage to you. So we have to find and clear the damaging ideas. We have to find and clear the damaging emotions. And the fastest way to do that and more is to work in the energy field, which is my job, to rapidly find and release the energetic disturbances that you've been collecting and gathering like dust since before you were even born. And the good news is everything is changeable. Everything. I don't care how far down the scale you've gone. I don't care how long you've had your symptoms, your patterns, and your pain. Even if you've been told there's nothing we can do for you. I work with people every single day who were told there's no cure. There's nothing we can do for you. I'm sorry. Nothing's even showing up on a medical test. We don't know what's wrong with you. You don't have any pain. It doesn't show up on a test. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But even if you have gone down that route and heard those things And maybe you've gotten this close to giving up all hope. Don't, because I have solutions that have worked with people just like you, people all over the world. So I want to do something really quickly so that I get a sense of everyone in here. If you'll notice at the bottom of your screen, there is a chat, depending on your device. There is a chat feature, and I'd love for you to go into the chat, click on everyone so that everyone can see it, unless you only want me to see it. That's fine. And I'd like you to type in there, what brings you to the call? What type of pain are you suffering from? Is it physical pain? Is it depression, anxiety, panic attacks, worry, overwhelm? Is it insomnia? Are you suffering from headaches? Are you suffering from stomach, digestive issues? Okay. Oh, I'm just hearing it's. You can just send it to me then. Whoever, whatever, wherever it goes, it's fine because I'll see it. And I want to make sure that I know what's going on with you so that I can make sure I speak to the common denominator here. You don't have to chat with everyone. You can just chat with me. So chronic pain, but Dilana, does that mean physical pain? Chronic pain could mean chronic depression. Okay, Chloe's saying holding weight. Rhonda is saying everything but headaches. All right. What else? Lavina is saying emotionally inhibited more than I realized. Nicola is saying my heart is pounding and a bit of tachycardia, which I believe is an irregular heartbeat. Oh, wow. A lot of people saying everything you mentioned. Physical pain, headaches, depression, previous car accident, previous cancer diagnosis, leg wound, leg pain, wounds, anxiety, chronic back pain, migraines, physical pain, low energy. That's a big one. Usually, if anyone has chronic pain, they also feel no energy, right? Chronic fatigue, migrating physical pain, insomnia, my hands are trembling, right? So tremors, overwhelm, anxiety, insomnia, ADD, irregular heartbeat. I don't exhale enough. All right, thank you, Noelle. Kathy, I can't let go of the past. No sleep. Lori saying body pains. Jennifer saying my eyes hurt. Headaches, car and sports accidents. DJ is saying fibromyalgia, constant pain, weight issues, digestive issues, fatigue, severe eczema, anger. Yep. Atrial fibrillation. I assume you mean rapid heartbeat. Is that what you mean, Marlene? No fancy medical terms here because everything in my world, see, first of all, I want to address some of these things, which is the labels. They're harming you, not helping you. And I'll tell you why, just one moment. So grudges is coming up, a lot of anger, vertigo, headache, nausea, digestive, joint pain, suicide of parents many years ago. Yes, grief. So, I feel for all of you, and I want to share with you quickly that I've been through my own health hell. So I have a lot of empathy for people who are hurting. My father died from chronic pain, lived with it till the day he died for over 45 years. It's something I've always, when I see people in pain, I want to help. And I always have. And so when I was gifted with the ability to provide a safe environment with a healing ability that we all have, but mine got turned on many years ago after I prepared the soil for it. And you know what? I've been grateful every day since because my dream came true to really be able to help people and not just say, oh, I feel for you. Because I do feel for you, but that doesn't help you other than let you know somebody cares, which is great. And that's an important part of healing. But it has to go much, much deeper than I care. And it has to provide you with practical results, right? Otherwise, what's the point? At least that's the way I looked at it. Because I went from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor to test to test to test to test. And I was either told nothing's showing up on a test, or there's nothing we can do for you, or here, take this. And I would take this and nothing would change. And I did that for years. And I bet some of you know what I'm talking about. I bet a lot of you do, if not all of you. In fact, how many of you, give me a yes or just raise your hand, how many of you, in fact, at the bottom, you should see reactions, a thing that says reactions. You can click on the thumbs up right there and let me know that you've been down that rabbit hole where you went from doctor to doctor. Thank you, Susan Diliana. I'm sure a lot of you tried lots of things, right? And the tests came back nothing. Or there was something on that test, right? And the doctor said, I know what it is. I can help you. And they gave you whatever they gave you for it. And you took it. You followed it. And nothing worked. Nothing changed. Did anybody experience that? Because I did that for years. And I was so frustrated and angry and wondering, is it ever going to leave? And am I ever going to get free of this? And I saw other people it wasn't happening to them. And I'm like, why me? And I'd fluctuate from self-pity to angry and feeling self-righteous and, those idiots don't know what they're doing. And I would just be so mad. Lori's saying the doctors can only give you the advice they've been given in school. That's exactly right. It's not that they don't want to help. It's that they have certain limitations to their training. And what's so cool about what I'm able to offer people and have been for years is that we have to go beyond the mind. We have to go beyond the emotions. We have to go beyond the body. And there's a grave misunderstanding about the body, about anything physical. I'm going to share that with you. Everything, one of the key things that was revealed to me years ago when this healing ability happened was I was shown very clearly that everything, including your body, is made of vibration. It's made of energy and information. This is vibrational information. Think about it like it's music. Music is information. It's sound. You can hear it, but you can't see it, right? You can't taste it or talk. Please mute your phone.
No. Okay, start video as soon as I'm able to detect the camera.
Whoever is number one day W, please keep your device muted. Thank you. You cannot see what your body's really made of. Well, if you were to take a very high-powered piece of equipment and you were to look at your arm under that piece of equipment, or your leg or your foot or your ear or whatever, you would see vibrating particles of light. You would also, if you had certain devices that they've developed in Russia and one in Japan, which is very uncommon here in the US. It's actually uncommon in most places, unless you have a very special type of practitioner who works in subtle energy, where they can literally measure and photograph the energy field. That's where my specialty lies. It's in that energy field. Because in the 1980s, some physicists discovered for the first time ever a field of energy, light, and information that surrounded the body. They gave it the name information field because they discovered that the field itself, the information in the field, was informing the body. The field held the information and then somehow was transmitting it to show up in the body. Now, until that time, unless you were involved in some spiritual form of healing, or like a practice like yoga or Tai Chi, because ancient practices have understood this for centuries. Chinese medicine understands this. The whole yogic world, the Tibetans, they're the Mayans, they're the Native Americans. There's a lot of understanding about this, but it was not considered scientific. Now, I don't have any judgment about the that information because I know it's real. And I've been practicing yoga for many, many years, and I'm a yoga teacher as well. So it wasn't new to me, but what's new is the science behind it, a more conventional science. The frontier science now, known as biofield science, is just groundbreaking for people because now there's data to prove what I've been hearing about and known about for years that has to do with this invisible force field that has vibrational information in it. And they're discovering new things all the time about it and about the impact that it has. Because here's what's so incredible that we have backwards. We think the body is self-acting. We think the body just decides to do these things or it catches something. It doesn't work that way. The body does not end at your skin. It actually extends out into a more subtle vibration. You don't have a field, you are a field. You don't have a body, you are not your body, you have a body, but you're not your body. Just like you have a car, but you're not your car, all right? Your body is a vehicle for something greater than a physical body. Your body is a vehicle for a body of consciousness, which is not physical. And your consciousness is also in your field. It is your field. And in fact, I would go so far to say that your body shows you your state of consciousness. And unfortunately, we live in a world that looks at the body and tries to fix the body. And so they look for the broken part or the damaged part, and then they try to cut it out or drug it out, which in some cases helps people or at least minimizes the symptoms. But again, and I want you to write this down, the symptoms are never the root cause of the problem. The symptoms are never the root cause of the problem. And this is what is so confusing, is that most people believe in the symptoms of disease and they try to figure it out and fix it. And that causes more damage than anything else because they're looking in the wrong place to fix it. Who's with me? Hey, Mary Charles, it's so good to see you. Hi. Who's following? Raise your hand if you're following me. All right, great. So what happens with pain especially is that it hurts and we don't like how it feels. And we want to get rid of it as fast as possible, right? Because it is interfering with our life, with our work, with our family, with our love life, with our careers, our relationships, our travel, our exercise. It just interferes with everything if the pain is bold enough, is bad enough, is strong enough. And so the number one thing that most people do is they run to fix the symptom, to mask the symptom. And they try to suppress it or medicate it or numb it out or drug it out. Now, sometimes they try to do that in a natural way, taking natural supplements and natural whatever. But the problem with that is it's still symptom treatment. You with me? All it does is just work on the symptom, and the symptom is never the root cause of the problem. So what do? Do we just sit with the pain and live with the pain and cope with the pain and learn to manage the pain? No, that's not at all what I'm saying. My approach is completely different. I want you to release that pain. I want you to learn from it. And I'm going to go so far as to say the pain is actually your friend. I know some of you are rolling your video eyes at me. I can sense it. That's probably why you have your camera turned off. You don't want me to see you. So you can roll your eyes and look, all skeptics are welcome. Look, I was very skeptical and I still am a skeptic, but this has proven to me consistently for many, many years that people get results, that this is real. If it weren't, I wouldn't be here. I'll tell you that, because I'm too doubting Thomas about everything. So I had to see again and again and again that this really works. Now, does it work like a magic wand for everyone? No. But here's what the point is that pain is trying to do something for you that you don't understand. These physicists discovered that there were disturbances. They are frequencies that are in your field, and they are just like sound waves. They are moving towards you, and then they show up in your body or in your life in some physical form. But they started out as subtle energy, light, vibration, frequency. I kind of use all those terms interchangeably. And the subtle is creating the physical. The subtle is the precursor to anything physical. So if all you do is go straight to the physical and try to cut it out, drug it out, numb it out, you're missing the point because you're not getting to what came first. You with me? Yeah. So Susan is saying it's the body being the mind. It is the body. The body is the physical manifestation of your mind and your emotions. And this is another huge piece of the puzzle that very few people talk about. Everybody's obsessed nowadays with the mind and clearing beliefs. And look, I know I'm not unique to the talking about the belief systems. That's, thank goodness, at least a lot of people are doing that. But that you can't stop there. You absolutely must cover 3 areas. And if you don't cover all 3, this is why people don't heal. Stuck. Would you please, everybody, mute your device? Make sure you are muted. I hear someone's background noise. Thank you. The reason people don't heal is because they're either missing the thoughts, the emotions, or even something in the energy field that they're having difficulty finding in their mind or in their emotional body. It could be an old imprint that you can't use your mind to figure out and find. This is often the case. It's, we've been impacted before the age of 8 or 9. We've been highly impacted by absolutely everything that was in the environment that you grew up in. Your physical space, the things you heard, the things people said to you, the things you saw at that time, even if you didn't understand them. You were impacted by everything you touched. You were impacted by the feelings that your primary caretakers were feeling. Before the age of 8 or 9, your brain isn't even developed in a way that knows what's true from what's false. It can't discern that. It's just taking everything in like a sponge. Whether it's harming you or helping you, it's taking it in. So if you were in an environment where, well, here's the other thing. You instinctually know when you're not safe. You will know when you're not safe. It may make no sense to you, but your brain is wired to keep you alive, so it senses danger. Now, you may have completely misinterpreted something that you start to respond to as if it's dangerous. And your entire system, your entire personality will shut down from your authentic self in order to avert danger. So what do I mean by that? So for example, in my family growing up, there was a lot of fighting, a lot of yelling. Don't ask me why. I always felt like it was my fault. So in order to stay safe, when I was young, I still am now, but it took a lot of work to get back to it. But when I was very young, I had a lot of energy, and I had an enthusiastic kind of a personality, and I was very outgoing. And my parents didn't know what to do with all that energy. I was bored easily. I loved to laugh and dance and sing and run around, and they just didn't know what to do with all of my energy. So I got yelled at, and then I saw their yelling, and I somehow, like, yelling meant it was my fault and I was doing something bad and wrong. And in order to not lose my parents' love and stay safe, because I didn't like being yelled at. I didn't like being smacked. I didn't like being sent to my room. Occasionally, my dad would pull out that belt. I really didn't like that. So I shut myself down and learned to be quiet and nice and a people pleaser and just keep my mouth shut. Now, yes, it served me in that I survived with probably a lot less repercussions, but it was a huge disservice because it affected me for many, many, many years, stuffing my emotions, never speaking up. I got to a point in my health hell journey where I felt like nobody knew me, nobody saw me, nobody heard me, nobody cared. I had a lot of pain, emotional pain. It was coming out sideways as symptoms, joint pain. I had ulcers. I had stomach aches all the time. My head had headaches. I never slept. These, the stuffing, the denying, the suppression of emotions and thoughts and being your authentic self, if you do it long enough, you will discover some sort of symptom. It may be different for you depending on the story that your body's telling, because everyone's body tells the story of their life. So my body did. All my emotions were churning and burning inside, and they were churning and burning in my joints, in my digestive tract. And until I found a safe space with a loving mentor where I could tell the truth finally and not be judged, and I started getting the tools to release the pain. No drugs, and believe me, I tried all of them. I tried every drug under the sun, both legal and illegal, almost killed me. I got highly addicted to prescription painkillers and sedatives and sleeping pills. Didn't even numb the pain. I drank wine every night till I passed out. Didn't kill the pain. I woke up every day with the same pain, the same depression, the same anxiety, the same anger, the same guilt, the same shame. I took things almost to the basement. And thank God I got out in time. And I don't want you to go to the basement with a health hell. You don't need to. You can get off that elevator much earlier. And you have to recognize, though, that your pain is trying to do something positive for you. And it's an indicator that you are out of alignment with your true highest self. And that's where I want to be able to show you how to get back not just your energy, not just feel good, but get your real power back, get your true self back. That's the greatest freedom of all. When you understand and develop a very deep relationship with your inner self, what you'll find is you'll never have another worry about trusting somebody else. You'll know how to make decisions. You'll know who and what is right for you. You'll know what to eat. You'll know what your body needs. You'll know what it's trying to tell you. And you'll find your voice. You'll stop being afraid to be who you really are, who God intended you to be. You'll live your purpose, your highest purpose. That doesn't mean you're going to be a Hollywood movie star or famous anybody, but you're going to discover what you came here to do that only you can do. Everybody has a unique blueprint. Why do you think you're the only one in the universe with this thumbprint? Do you think that's by accident? There are no accidents in God's world. None. No accidents. You are unique. Think about the miracle of your thumbprint. You already are a miracle. But you, like so many of us, you've gotten off track, which is very easy to do because of what you learned. And we live in a world that really, really emphasizes left brain linear intellectual thinking. And we trust science and data and controlled studies. And look, I don't mean to bash any of that. I come from a family of doctors, okay? They care about people. They've invented amazing things that help people without harming them. I'm very proud of my family. Um, and I think we need to all work together, the conventional medical world and the alternative practitioners. But that doesn't happen that often. You know, part of why I've done so many trainings with health practitioners is because more and more of them are becoming open and they know their limitations. And so they're interested more and more now in energy. They recognize energy it is the future and of medicine, of real health care, health prevention, and it's here to stay. And so, you know, that's why I keep speaking and speaking all over the world as much as possible to educate people, because I want you to know you don't have to accept the limitations of everything you've been taught. You know, it's a funny thing when a lot of people agree with something, with a particular idea, people assume it's true. It could be the biggest lie, the biggest falsity you've ever heard. But if a lot of people agree with it, a lot of people assume it's true. If you think back to the Wright brothers who invented the airplane, nobody agreed with them. Nobody believed an airplane, a huge metal, however many ton thing like that could get up off the ground and fly in the air. Nobody showed up on the day the Wright brothers flew their first plane in the air. Nobody showed up because they did not believe it was possible. And now every 2 seconds, an airplane is taking off somewhere. You see, this is called consciousness, and consciousness is constantly changing. This conversation tonight goes out, the information, just me speaking and you thinking about this, goes into the collective consciousness. That is another way of saying the collective field, that we're all interconnected and joined together in. We live in a gigantic field of energy and light and information. You can't be separated from that. You're part of it. And so everything you think about, everything you talk about, everything you remember goes into that field of information. And that's why you want to be conscious of what you're putting in the field, because there's a lot of pollution in that field with damaging false ideas, damaging emotions that harm other people. Don't think lightly. If you hate other people, if you carry around hate and bitterness and anger, now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you need to stuff them or ignore them or deny them. You need to learn how to heal that. That's what I teach in my pain-free living program. Because if you don't release that, you're directing it at someone or something. It could even be at an institution. And we got a lot of that going on right now with politics. People slinging hate all over. It goes into the collective consciousness, and we all are affected by that. We are all feeling the collective, whether you know it or not. We are part of nature, and everything in nature is interconnected. So in order to heal, you have to learn to feel, and you have to learn to release the ones that are damaging you. And why are they damaging you? Anybody know? Want to take a guess? Type it into the chat. How do you think emotions could damage you? How could they even affect you physically? Come on, somebody raise your hand and or give me your thumbs up and I'll unmute you, or type it in the chat. I know some of you here know the answer to this because I've worked with you. Come on. Anybody willing to? Okay, Randy, I'm going to unmute you, Randy. Hang on here. Randy, there we go. Oops, sorry, I just muted you accidentally. There we go.
Hello,
Hi, Randy.
this is Marilee, actually.
Oh, hi, Nellie.
I think that when you hold on to negative energy, it can cause pain or symptoms, insomnia,
Yep.
headaches, all kinds of physical issues.
So Marilee is saying holding on to painful emotions can cause physical pain, insomnia, emotional issues. I know I've worked with Marilee. She's had a lot of emotional release and had a lot of healing as a result, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So here's the thing, everybody. And Lisbeth is saying energy doesn't flow freely. That contributes to it. Susan is getting really, really warm here. So Susan is saying emotions create chemicals. I'm going to elaborate on that. And Lynn is saying negative energy. And Carla is saying it's a low vibration. And Miriam is saying because every single cell in our body feels to something and it got cut off. um, so here's what happens. Emotions, so one of my favorite researchers was the late Dr. Valerie Hunt. She was a PhD at UCLA for many, many years. And she was the first person to ever photograph the field, the biofield. And she took cameras and film and computers and oscilloscopes, which measure frequencies. And she somehow figured out how to put this all together to photograph the field around the body. And she showed very, very clearly and specifically that emotions create a wave, just like sound. It's a wave that can be measured. You see it on a graph. And you know how, if you've ever seen an electrocardiogram, for example, when they measure your heart rate and stuff, that you see how there's peaks and valleys, okay? Well, these graphs showed emotions do the same thing, and that emotions are emitting frequencies that can be highly disturbing to the physical body. It's like, think of it this way. If there's certain music that absolutely would make you want to just run into the other room and put in ear plugs because it would be screeching or painful to listen to, right? That's what a disturbed, an emotion that's causing a disturbance frequency is like that. You may not hear it, but it has a similar effect. And if you were forced to be in, let's say, a small room with that horrible, loud, screeching, horrific music for like again and again and again, it would have a damaging effect on you. So emotions do the same thing. They can work for you or against you. None of you, I'm sure, I've never had a client yet begging me to get rid of their joy or their inner peace, right? But they come and they say every day, Deborah, like there's this critical voice in my head. I feel so bad about myself. I feel ashamed. I'm angry. I'm filled with guilt or fear. See, those are the emotions that are sending a frequency, a vibration, and if it's repeated, it will show up as a disturbance in the body. And we also know that emotions emit chemicals, like Susan mentioned. Literally, your body's a pharmacy. And every drug, in fact, think about it, drugs, synthetic drugs came from nature. Your body is already designed to produce every drug it needs. But when we're given synthetic drugs, the body says, oh, I don't need to produce that, and it stops working properly. And more and more and more and more now, people are on synthetic drugs of all types. They're dishing it out like candy to little kids. And again, I'm not here to give any medical advice. I'm not telling you to stop your drugs. But I am saying that I've seen a lot of harm coming to people when even they didn't even know what was wrong and they just gave a drug because they didn't know what else to do. And then there was, if you've heard any of the commercials I've heard, the list of side effects is longer and worse sometimes than the actual thing you have. So with frequencies, with emotions, we can change those in a second. instantaneously. The same thing with your thoughts. And so let me ask you this question. If you knew today, right now, that your thoughts were part of the problem with whatever type of pain you're suffering from, and if you knew that your thoughts and your emotions were part of the problem and that you could change them, how many of you would want to do that? Is there anybody that would not want to do that? Right? Anybody not want to do that? Especially if you knew it could happen instantaneously. So I'm going to give you a little exercise right now to prove my point. And as long as you're not driving, I want you to make sure you're in a safe place sitting down. And I'd like you to, if you're sitting down, close your eyes for a moment. And I'd like you to think about someone or somewhere that you just absolutely love. You just love this place or this person. You can't wait to see them again or go there again. Every time you're with them or you're in this place, you just are like, oh God, heaven on earth. I love how I feel around this person or at this place. I want you to think about this person, place. It could be a thing. And I want you to notice how you feel when you think about that person, place, or thing. I want you to imagine that person, place, or thing in the way that you imagine. You may be able to picture them in your mind. You may be able to actually see the colors. You may be able to see the person or the place. You may be able to hear sounds, voices, words, music, sounds of nature, maybe. You may be able to smell the scent, the fragrance of the place, maybe the perfume of the person, the cologne. Maybe it's a favorite food and you can taste it. I want you to get that dialed into your imagination now as strongly as possible. Notice how it makes you feel. And notice where you feel it. All right, now we're going to change it up. And I want you to think about something you've experienced in your life that either really scared the hell out of you or angered the hell out of you or was very, very challenging, difficult, painful, created fear, anxiety, some kind of pain. I want you to think about that. Maybe it was a person, an event, an experience. I want you to notice what happens when you think about that person, place, event, thing. Notice what happens and notice where you feel it. Notice what happens to your breathing. Notice what changes. Did you feel the difference? Take a deep breath. Go first, before you open your eyes, take another deep breath. And I want you to go back to someone or something that you love, that feels good, that you just really, really enjoy being around. want you to bring that back into your mind's eye, into your body, into your awareness. Go back to the person, the place, the thing that you love. And now take a deep breath and feel that feeling in your heart area. And bring that feeling back with you as you slowly open your eyes. All right, now I changed it so you can all chat and everyone can share. How many of you felt a difference when you thought about and remembered something or someone you love versus something or someone that caused pain, fear, or something? Type yes in the chat or raise your hand if you noticed a difference in how you felt in your body. And you should be able to chat with everyone and just type yes in the chat. If not, at least I'll still see it. All right, so big difference, Marilee is saying. Corinne is saying yes. Elizabeth, yes. Randy, see all the yeses coming in. Look at all these yeses, a difference. DJ, yes. Definitely attention. Massive difference from Gil. Yeah, you see, you are a very powerful being. And I want you to understand today, and do not leave here today without recognizing your thoughts and your emotions are the underlying key that is showing up in your body. And the fastest way to release thoughts and emotions is in the energy field first. That should be the first choice, not the last. It helps quickly, rapidly, because it's vibration. It can rapidly release there quicker than even when I teach, and I teach people every day how to find these beliefs, how to find these emotions and release them. And I want you to learn how to do that. But when you work in the energy field first, it's the quickest way to gather a lot of it up and sometimes all of it up all at once and release it. And it can happen instantaneously. And it doesn't require your participation, your mind, or any kind of work or practice. It just requires you doing it with me. And this is why I think that, the high speed healing method has become so popular, because it's so easy. And I don't want people to get dependent on me, but it's usually not the type of practice that you have to do the rest of your life. Usually within a short time, you will release the majority of what needs to happen. And I also, in one of my programs, it's called the Pain-Free Living Program, I teach the exact tools that you can use for self-care so that you start to become aware of what you become more aware of your thinking and of your emotions than you were before. And then you know how to release them on your own so you don't build it all up again and end up with symptoms of pain. It requires awareness on your part. It's not hard to do. It's just like anything else. I mean, you brush your teeth, I assume. You had to learn how to drive a car. It takes a little practice at first, but it's not hard to do. And so when people learn to do this, then all of a sudden they say to me, wow, I'm recognizing the thoughts that I didn't realize before are causing the emotions of pain. And now I know what to do with both of them. I know how to change the thoughts and I know how to release the emotions. See, that's ultimately what I want for everyone. I would like to show you how to become a master at healing yourself. Now, initially, people come to me because they've been down that rabbit hole for a long time and they have chronic something. And that's where you need a leg up, because to do that on your own, it probably wouldn't be that easy. But when you have me to help you do the high speed healing, it's much more rapid. And she may be on the call. Let's see. I spoke to an old client today. Not that she's, 100 years old, but that she was came to see me maybe back in 2008. One time, she had such bad pain, low back and sciatica pain down in her leg and hip, and she lived in a city not in my city. Her husband drove her to, this is years ago when I had an office, and I haven't even worked in an office in 6 years. So this was a long time ago. Her husband drove her. She had to lie flat on her back in the back of I think it was a station wagon. And he drove her to my office because she was in so much pain she couldn't sit up. And she came in, she got on my table, and one session, and she left completely pain-free. She told me today, we went out to a bar, we had a drink and dinner or lunch, and then she went back to work that same week. Now, she couldn't move. It was so bad. She couldn't drive. It was so bad. This is the type of thing that happens in my world all the time. Some people get that magic wand and they never need me again. Other people, it's a little slower and they get a bit at a time. You never get more than you can handle. And the woman I spoke to today, she had a big emotional release. She told me, I remember I was sobbing my eyes out. And that's usually what I find, is that when we get to the deep emotions that end up connected to the pain, and even I have worked with many people with cancers of all types. And again, I'm not here saying that I can heal or treat cancer. You didn't hear me say that, but they had been given that diagnosis. And when I worked with them doing high-speed healing, and I showed them, I helped them get those emotions up, when they had release of mind and emotion and energy field disturbances, it's way too coincidental that many of them heal, and even tumors that the doctors say will never, it's never possible to heal this, they were gone. So you see, lots and lots of things we don't think are possible are possible. Let's see. There's some comments still coming in. So I want you to begin this week to do something to help yourself. I want you to begin to notice, just like we just did, and you all did it successfully. It was not difficult what I asked you to do, was it? You're all capable of noticing your thoughts and noticing your emotions. So I want you to start to become more diligent about noticing throughout the day. In fact, if I were you, I would recommend you set a timer at least 3 to 5 times a day. And when it goes off, you just stop for a minute, stop what you're doing and notice what you were just thinking about. And ask yourself this question: is what I was just thinking about making me feel light and expanded and comfortable and at ease and happy and joyous and curious? Or is what I was just thinking about causing me to feel tight, tense, constricted, restricted, upset, angry, afraid, worried? I want you to begin to take an inventory throughout the day at different times. I want you to begin to notice your patterns. Are you spending more time in the vibration, in the frequency of expanded joy or tense stress? And I want you to begin to take some responsibility, a new form of responsibility. I am not talking about blaming yourself. No blaming allowed. But responsibility in my world means the ability to respond. And I want you to respond to yourself in a way that helps yourself, instead of just doing more and more of the same old, and wishing for a different result. You know that definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. It's insane. It doesn't work. If you're going to change, you have to do something different. So I'm going to make a few recommendations tonight. You start noticing how often your thoughts and emotions are affecting you. Number one, absolutely foundationally important for you to look at that and take responsibility for that. Number two, are you breathing? This is so basic that people easily overlook this. If you're not breathing properly and deeply, guess what? You're going to feel anxious. The first thing when people get scared and afraid, what happens? We stop breathing. We breathe shallow in the upper chest and we hold our breath. If you've ever been scared or had an accident or fallen down or been startled by someone, first thing you do, hold your breath and you stop deep breathing. And so when people say to you, oh, relax, take a deep breath. No, that's not how it works. Think of a balloon that's full to the brim, completely full. If it had one more breath of air in there, it would burst. That's how you probably already feel if you're afraid, worried, stressed, and depressed. What you need to focus on is the exhale, the letting go. Let the air out of the balloon. So stop this whole take a deep breath and relax business. I want you to notice, are you exhaling? And are you breathing shallow in the upper chest? Okay, who's with me? Give me a yes, a hands up. Anybody with me? All right. Number three, I want to invite each and every one of you who is not yet a member of the High Speed Healing Universe to become a treasured member, because for less than the price of a Starbucks, you can come in there every single week, which is where you are right now, actually. We meet on Thursdays at 5 o'clock. Oh, and I have an exciting announcement for those of you out of the country. Don't let me forget. We meet at 5 p.m. Pacific right here in my Zoom room for the High Speed Healing Universe call. It's every single week of every single month. The new exciting announcement is that on the last Wednesday of the month, we're going to change the time to 11 a.m. Pacific, so that all of you beautiful people who live in the UK and Europe and the Scandinavian countries, and I have I discovered just today, there are over 10,000, almost 10,000 people who live outside the US that live in the countries that they're never going to be able to, well, I won't say never, because a few of you come in your pajamas and I love you for doing that. But I'm not going to make you suffer at 1 a.m. any longer. We're going to do an 11 a.m. call on the last Wednesday of every month. So if you live in the time zone where you're 8 or 9 hours apart, this will work for you. And also every single month on the first, is it the first? The second, I think it's the second week of every month in the High Speed Healing Universe, I do a high speed energy healing session. That's included as part of the membership. So you get live Q&A with me every month, where I unmute people and help them, with their questions. You get a high speed healing session every single month. You will get my Meditation Made Easy course, which is right away. And that course costs more than the monthly membership does to just join the High Speed Healing Universe. I'm giving it away because that's how much I want you to have that tool in your back pocket. It is a very important tool, especially with this new, not so normal life we're living. So I want you to know how to meditate. And I have taught 5 techniques that one of those techniques is going to suit your learning style. So even those of you who have already tried meditating and think you did it wrong, or it didn't work for you, or you didn't get results, or you got bored, or you just didn't like it, you're going to like one of these techniques. That is given to you the minute you join the membership. Mary Charles is asking, oh, the first thing I listed was when you become a member, the I think it's the second or third, I think it's the second week of every month, I do a high-speed energy healing session. It's included in the membership tuition. And so every month you'll get a tune-up, every single month. So those of you who've been suffering, struggling, trying to figure out what's wrong, or if you're brand new to my work and you're not sure yet if this is for you, it's a great way at a very affordable investment to experience this, have direct access to me 4 weeks in a row. And also we have a private Facebook group where you can meet the people from around the world. You can ask questions in there. You can, share with each other, with me. My assistant Colin is in there answering people's questions every day. I go in there as well and do the same. You can post topics that you're interested and want me to talk about. I teach something every single week. I teach actual techniques and do guided meditations and visualizations. And I teach you the tools that I want you to practice on your own for self-care. I sometimes bring in guest speakers with certain specialties. We have an entire library in there of all the archived calls that have already happened and some bonus calls. And when you become a 3-month member, we unlock the whole library for you. So you can join as a 3-month member or a 1-month member, and you can have access to that library right away. And it's a month, there's no contract. So it's, if you want to stay 1 month and then leave, you're free to do that. You can stay as short or long as you like. There are also mini courses. There's a couple of them in there right now that you have access to, and you will always receive, when I create a new course for the general public, you will always receive a special reward price for the for being a member. So there's lots of advantages to being in there. And in fact, I'm going to put the link in the chat right now so you can see where you sign up. It's internationalcpi.com/HSHU. That will give you all the details. I'm not going to go into all the details, but you can read more about the program there, about the membership there, and you can sign up for it there. And I would love to invite every single one of you to join us there. We have a beautiful group of people. Wow, it's really a beautiful group of people from around the world. And it's getting more and more from Europe and the UK. So remember, the 4th week will be at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 8 p.m. in the UK and 9 p.m. in the Netherlands and quite a few other countries, Sweden, I think, and so wherever you are, it should work for you now, at least 1 week where you can attend live. Oh, and I should say, well, we record every week. So no matter where you are, the recording stays up for a full week before it goes into the library, and you can have the replay access for an entire week. So if you can't attend live, you can listen to it at your leisure anytime you want over the course of a week. If you're a monthly member, and if you're a 3-month member, you can go into the library anytime you want and listen to all the calls, and you can binge watch instead of Netflix. You can binge watch on the membership. If you have any questions, feel free to type that into the chat for me. And the cost of the membership, so the investment is $97 per month, or you can join and become a 3-month member right out of the gate, and that's $291. 3 times 97. And you can upgrade to the 3-month membership anytime you like as well. So if you join for the monthly and you're in there even, a week or two and you go, wow, I really like this. I want to be a 3-month member and I want to get all the library access. You just email us and we'll prorate it and we'll upgrade your membership anytime you want to the 3-month membership. And that just means you're paying for 3 months at a time and you're committed to being there for 3 months. So there's no extra cost for doing that. Let's see. Next week's guest. I have a special guest next week, but that's going to be a free call for the whole world. So next week at 4 o'clock Pacific, I'm bringing in my friend who is a world-renowned sound healer. You hear me talking about this music stuff all the time. So he has researched the science behind sound and why and how it heals. So I'm bringing in a science geek to talk to us further and share some of, he's created all kinds of music and sound for different reasons, different effects, different healing abilities. And I'm bringing him on next week at 4 p.m. Pacific. So it'll be free to the public. You're all welcome to come back and bring your friends and family. And then we'll go straight from the 4 o'clock call into the 5 o'clock high speed healing universe call. So you'll have a long time with Debora. And we'll have massive healing next week because let's see, that's the second week of the month. So we're going to have sound healing with David, and then you'll come into the universe and you'll have high speed healing with Debora. So it's going to be a dynamic duo of healing next week. You definitely want to be there for that and invite your friends. And if you all should be, I'm sure you're all on my email list, unless you're on Facebook. If you're in Zoom, you're on the email list, and that's how you got the invitation for today. So you will get the email invite for this. If you're on Facebook, you need to be sure to email us and let us know you want to be on that list, or you can subscribe by going to www.internationalcpi.com/high speed healing Wednesdays. That will get you on the invitation list, and you'll be invited to any free call that I do that typically happens on Wednesdays. And anyone who's here, you're welcome to invite, have your friends sign up at that, or your family sign up as well. Spread that link around the world. We want to help as many people as we can. You're going to love David. He's so interesting and really a wealth of information about sound and what the heck that has to do with healing. All right. So let me just quickly recap, and then are there any questions from anybody here today? If so, would you please type them in the chat for me? So a few people emailed in some really powerful questions. I've picked a couple that I'm going to just briefly talk about now, and I will, I'll do another call. I do a call in the universe all the time where it's just straight Q&A for an hour and a half, because each one of these questions is so good. I could probably speak for an hour and a half on any one of these. So I don't have time to answer all of them. I'm hoping that those of you who sent these in, I know a couple of you are here, that you heard me answer, maybe not in a specific way to your question, but you heard what I was talking about tonight and how it relates to your pain issue that you wrote in about. So for example, G wrote in about having how to resolve chronic headaches, migraines, extreme tension in my back, neck, head, shoulders, despite the fact that he or she focuses on self-care, goes to the chiropractor every single week, goes to acupuncture, exercises regularly, and does daily meditation. You see, this is a brilliant question and exactly what I'm talking about. This is a person who is not ignoring their symptoms. They have chronic headaches. They have migraines. They have extreme tension and pain in their neck, head, shoulders, and back, despite the fact that they focus on self-care, they go to the chiropractor, they go to acupuncture, they exercise regularly, and they meditate every day. You see, G, if you're listening or you're here, I want you to know you are my people. You see, everything I said tonight is for you. You have not found the hidden, painful thoughts and emotions that are at the root. And they are in your energy field. They are, I will find them. I can scan someone's energy field and in 2 seconds flat, feel where these disturbances are. So I can do it privately or in a group. I work with people privately and in a group. Those of you who know you really need the deeper healing with me, then you want to work with me privately or in the group. My pain-free living program group, the membership, the High Speed Healing Universe may not be enough for you. Someone like G right here, I don't recommend the membership for you. You need the deeper work that I will offer you privately or in the pain-free living program. I don't want you to give up hope because I work with people like you every single day, and nobody's helped you go deep enough to ask you the right questions to help you find, well, and you probably have never felt safe enough for the deep, painful emotions and thoughts and trauma to come up and move out. I will do that with you. And that's why people that come into my world heal. And that's why people every day say to me, God, I've tried everything, but finally with you, it changed. Finally with you, I've healed. Finally with you, it's leaving or it's gone. It's not unusual for me to hear that. And I don't say that to brag. I want to give you hope. It's really true. And so please don't hesitate to reach out. Nathaniel has talked about dealing with fatigue over the last couple of years and also extra weight, 20 pounds of weight that he can't release. These are two other areas that I work with people all the time. Chronic fatigue is just so many people suffering from. And it's very, very rare that any practitioner links it to emotions. But I will tell you one thing, one of the biggest energy draining factors is emotional pain. It takes a ton of energy to hold down those emotions that you don't want to feel. And guess what I've also found? That emotions that we don't want to feel, they're going to go somewhere. And a lot of people use food to medicate their emotions, their emotional pain. So it's very common that I work with people who can't lose weight, who can't stop binge eating, and who have pain and fatigue, and it's related to emotions. So again, and it may be also very related to trauma from your past, even from way back in childhood. And you just don't even know where to look if you're looking for this on your own, or if you do know that you had trauma. I've yet to meet anybody who's excited to be home alone in their living room and try to figure out their trauma and feel it and resolve it by themselves. Nobody wants to do that. I didn't even want to do that. Nobody wants to. Most people tell me, and I had the same, they're afraid that if they start to bring up the emotions that were traumatic and painful, that those emotions will never stop. They're worried about not being able to function at work, not pay their bills, not take care of their kids, and they're afraid it will last forever. So I want to reassure you that the High Speed Healing and the Pain-Free Living program does not reignite the original trauma so that you will be debilitated. It does not do that. It is the fastest, safest way that I've ever seen trauma come up and release. Even I am still blown away by how quickly very incredibly bad trauma is released for people. It's often very rapid, and sometimes, not everyone, but sometimes people, it comes up, the emotional pain comes up in observer mode, what I call observer mode, where they know they're releasing it and they're witnessing what happened, but they're not feeling it. They don't even have to re-experience it to release it. Doesn't happen for everyone that way. The people that need to feel and not be afraid to feel, they will feel their feelings, and it will help you lose your fear of feelings lasting forever. They don't. Their energy, they pass actually quite rapidly if you're not resisting them. And I teach you how to stop resisting. So that's a really cool example. And I've worked with so many people, and now, the world is kind of traumatized all over the place. So trauma doesn't necessarily mean you went to war in Iraq, or you got hit by a car, or you were beaten as a child. Trauma is losing your job when you didn't expect it, or losing your paycheck, or somebody, is very ill or even died from COVID or something that you were not expecting. Trauma is having your kids sick and don't know what to do about it and feel out of control. Trauma is having your kids and your husband home 24/7 and you haven't been together like that in years and you're ready to kill each other. I mean, I don't mean to make light of this, but we got to keep it light somewhere. We're living through very unusual times, and you are allowed to be human and have feelings. And if you don't know what to do with them, it can get ugly. I am no different. I have found it to be a roller coaster ride over the course. This has been since March already. It's 9 months, right? I never expected this to go on 9 months. And it's been tiring. And I've had emotional response just like you. Fortunately, I know what to do with it, and I can stay pretty steady. But I've had my moments where you were glad you didn't live with me. So I know what it's like. And I want to give you the tools. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see. Yeah, Lavina, the replay will be up for an entire week if you're a 1-month member, and then the in the library, the archive, it has every single call. And so if you're a 3-month member in the High Speed Healing universe, you can go in there anytime, 24/7, and all those calls you have access to them at any time. So you might, since you live in a different time zone, or you work that time, you may want to just become a 3-month member and do it that way. Anybody want to raise their hand and have a last minute question for me before we sign off tonight? You guys have been so amazing. I'm gonna just check here. Anybody? No questions? Nobody with all of you on the line? Will the healing session still work if you can only make the recorded version? Great question. I always forget to answer that. So who was it just yesterday? Who was that? Oh yeah. So somebody told me, somebody got in touch with me and told me that they, it was my new client. That's right. So she heard me speak at an event where it was a recorded talk. All right. I wasn't even doing it live. It was a recording of me speaking that I made a month ago. And I recorded my talk. And then at this thing that she went to, they played my talk. She didn't, she listened to the recording, and on the recording, I did a short 6 or 7 minute demo of my high speed healing method. She emailed me after that and said, wow, I cannot believe how for 3 days I started to feel so much better. And she had been really struggling with a lot of health issues. And she has a new baby coming, and she was worried about that. And, just she wanted to get clear of things. And she had been searching and doing a lot of different things, and nothing was helping her. And she listened to a 6-minute demo on a recording. And she said she felt completely amazing. And she could feel, in her words, she said, it felt like you were pulling the toxins out of my body. And she became a client of mine yesterday or the day before because she wanted to work with me further to make sure she really healed deeply on all levels. That was a 6-minute recording. All right. So I get emails all the time from people saying, wow, I love the recording. I like the recording better than the live. And then I get people who email me all the time and say, oh, I like the live better than the recording. It's not that one is more powerful than the other. It's that people have an individual preference. And guess why? It goes back to your beliefs and your emotions. There are some people who just cannot wrap their mind around how it's possible from a recording that this could work. And so the whole time they're lying there, they're thinking about it, they're worried about it, they're emotionally not feeling comfortable. So they don't like it. They don't get the same results because they're spending all their energy worrying. Those people should just come to a live call or work with me, live. But you will find if you do this 3-4 times, even 2 or 3 times, you will probably start to relax with it. You know, I recommend everybody do it both ways. You do it live at least once, then you have something to compare it to. And then when you listen to a recording, you'll go, oh my God, I feel similar to how I did when I was live. And you'll start to relax your mind about it. The mind is the problem. It's not the recording. It's not the way it's delivered. It's the mindset about it. So yes, it works just as well, but you may not like it as much. So don't do it if you don't like the recording. But if you do come into the universe or my pain-free living program and you do the live call healing session, I do recommend that you also, we send out the recorded healing program as well, or healing session as well. And I really highly recommend you do it at home from the recording so that you get the benefit of noticing how it feels, and you still have the live call as well. Yes, Lori, that's correct. Mary Charles is saying you were listing 3 questions for us to do. I missed the first one. The first one is I want you to set a timer, and at least 3 times a day, when that timer goes off, I want you to stop everything and immediately, don't delay, immediately just ask yourself and take out, have a little notebook. You can write this down. Don't just think about it. You must write it down. And I want you to ask yourself, or write out these questions and have it in there, and then answer these questions. What was I just thinking? Write down what you were just thinking about, and then ask yourself, was that thought making me feel alive, expanded, happy, joyous, free, comfortable, at ease? Or was that thought making me feel tense and tight and stressed and worried and anxious, depressed? That's question number 1. And the second one was, am I breathing? Yep. Notice throughout the day, are you breathing or are you holding your breath? And the third was, what was the third? Does anyone remember? I'm like a stream of consciousness girl here. You got to catch me while I'm going through it. I think that really what I was asking you to do is notice your breathing. And I'm not sure there was a third one. If anyone remembers, please type it in the chat. And then there's another question in the chat. Is it okay to go to sleep during the recorded healing session? It's the most optimal thing is to observe your inner experience the whole time, but that does take practice, and some people will fall asleep, and if you do, that's fine. If you need to sleep, you will probably fall asleep, or if you are a very, very analytical thinker and you're going to sit there the whole time and kind of judge the process or worry about it, you may actually fall asleep. And that's a way that it gets your mind out of the way. But if you're able to observe, that is the best use of the healing session, because you will, in time, as you practice it, you'll notice that you will often get information that's very important for you. You'll get inner guidance. You may have quite extraordinary experiences that you don't want to miss. So it's okay if you do fall asleep, but if you don't want to purposely fall asleep. Let's see. There was no third one. Thanks, Jennifer. I didn't think there was a third one. So Diane, if you'd like a healing session, you can get one every single month when you become a member of the High Speed Healing Universe, or you can book a private discovery session with a healing session with me at my website. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either work with me privately, or you can become a member of the High Speed Healing Universe. There's a limited number of private sessions available, and they get gobbled up pretty quickly. So definitely email about that, or just go to the website and sign up for that as soon as you can, or just become a member and you can have a healing session next week in, let's see, next week, no, yeah, next week in the High Speed Healing Universe. All right, it looks like that is invited each to join High Speed Healing number 3. Oh, Rhonda's saying that the third thing I mentioned was I invited you to become a member of the High Speed Healing Universe. Thank you, Rhonda. All right, my friends. Wow, so many of you, all of you, in fact, stayed on the line. I think we gained people. Amazing. I just want you to know how much you guys mean to me. You really do. I appreciate you being so open to my passionate mission here. You know, the world is really changing. 10 years ago, it was much more difficult. And I'm just so glad I hung in there and stayed with it, because the world is really changing and people are getting it. They're getting it, that we have to change our consciousness. Everything is energy, vibration. Nikola Tesla said this: everything is energy, vibration, frequency, everything. Einstein taught us as well. So, you know, it's time. It's time for this. It's time for speeding up the whole healing process, making it easier, safer, faster. And so those of you here, I know you're the trailblazers, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being open to my message and my work. And if I can help you in any way, just email, reach out. I'm here for you. I really am. I got nothing else on this planet that I want to do, except every now and then. But in the meantime, most of my time and energy this is really what I want to be doing all day, every day. So use me, baby. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, keep coming back. Mark your calendar. The first Wednesday of every month, you can come into this call for free. And if you want and need more than that, you know how to do that. Next week, you get the 2-for-1 special. I'm going to have my guest and myself. So yes, I do help people with COVID. Nikki is asking me, I've had quite a few clients, and every one of them said right away after the session, they felt more energetic, they're more energy coming back. And again, you know, I'm not here to treat medical conditions, but I will tell you that everything that you've been told, you know, given a label, I don't care what it is, COVID, fibromyalgia, neck pain, thyroid, like these are labels that represent a pattern. It's a pattern that is identifiable because they see it repeated in a lot of people. And that's why they say, oh, she has this, he has that. It's just a pattern. And all patterns are made of vibration. And all vibration is changeable. So you don't help yourself by calling it something and then Googling Dr. Google and finding out how terrible it is. That's going to make you scared of it, give it more power. What you need to understand is that all patterns are changeable. All symptoms are made of energy. All energy is changeable. The body is designed to heal when it is given a safe space with the right tools and releases the disturbances. Simple as that. Changing the vibration. You must change. If your vibration changes, you must change. If your frequency changes, you must change. Frequency, vibration, they're the same thing. And that's what I do, is I bring in a different vibration, the one that you need. And I help people every single day change that vibration that's in their field, that's showing up in their body, in their mind, in their life. And that's why they change. And it doesn't require being in the same location. It doesn't take time. It works outside the realm of time and space, but that's an entirely different conversation we do not have time for today. And I'm not a physicist, but it's based on the principles from physics. It's not something I made up. I guess I should say that. I didn't make this up. This is quantum physics in the flesh. And it really works. And if you haven't read all the testimonials on my website, please do yourself a favor and go read some of them and watch the videos. And you're going to be blown away because, all those people could not be making it up. So don't take my word for it. Go read the testimonials and watch the video testimonials and get your hope back. Get your hope back that you too can heal. So with that, we've gone way over time. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here, and come back soon. I'm going to stop this recording. Bye, everybody. I'll answer all the questions on Facebook in a little bit.